Hi, this is Dean at 6 Cent Support. I'm going to show a quick video of how to extract the software from an existing controller of the DDC family, either a DDC4000 series or a DDC420. In my particular case today, I'm going to be extracting it from a DDC420. To do this, we have to first create a new project in PS4000. This is going to then be the host for the new software that we're going to get. So select Project, New, and we put in the project name. If I could type, and we give it a project order number, something unique and you haven't used before, and we disable trick, and we turn quantity on off. The next bit, D4D default, we have to select the very current version of the controller which we're trying to communicate with. So in a DDC420 we press the I button and we go to device information, and it will tell us the firmware release. We match that firmware release with the firmware release of the relevant version. So in my particular case the controller is 2.704, and that's going to be system release J, but in your case it may be 2.03, in which case you'd select release G. Okay, we select release J, and I'm going to program a 4000 controller as normal, so select OK. So this will create a new project database which we are going to add the new controller into. Now normally we would have to create the location tree and create a new controller. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shortcut to that process, and I'm going to copy another controller into my file which is just blank. So I've already got a project that I can take this blank controller into my new project, and that just speeds up the process. So I'll wait for the database to be created, and I will then insert my blank controller. So to do that, I right click on the test project and I say copy title from, and I'm going to copy my blank project controller from my database, which is called DDC and FBU startup project. This is a file that I've already created and is already installed on my PS4000 system, so I can just extract the controller from that system. The file that I'm copying it from is a PS5 project with a project number of 6666666, and you can find a copy of that project if you want to use it on the support forum download section in the PS4000 project group. It's just a standard PS5 file which you can then restore into your PS4000 system, and then you can use that for any ongoing project creation. It's just a shortcut to get you straight to get to the programming stages as quickly as possible. So now I've got my new controller installed, I've got my plant, I've got my field, I've got everything, I've got the DDC controller, my network. It's got 3 FBUs already configured on it, but if I go into the controller itself, there's no software inside it. It's just blank. It's ready to start programming. So what I'm going to do now is I have to cross-reference the IP address of the controller which I have, which is set in properties of the DDC. So right click on the DDC420 and you can set the IP address, network address, and the backnet config address, and that obviously has to match the remote controller as well. So we then are happy with that because my remote controller is at default, and then I can just simply right click on the DDC420 project planning file, and I can receive and save the project from the device. If I have a web browser backup file of the controller, I can simply read that in using the top option, and the same process will apply. So I'm going to receive it live from the controller so you can see that happen. So I'm going to say receive and save. It will ask me to give it a file name. I'm going to call this version 1, and I click on save, and PS4000 will connect to the device. Well, it would do that if I had the Ethernet cable plugged in, so I'll have to try that again. Please forgive me. Project planning file, receive and save. version 1. And now through the backnet process it's making a backnet data save, and it's extracting all of the files and storing them as a file name version 1. I can close this process down. It now asks me if it wants to read this into my new project, and I'm going to say yes. The project will be permanently changed. Do I want to back up my project? No, I do not, because I have nothing in there to save. And then I'll say OK, because it's just going to overwrite my existing controller. Okay, so the software has worked out quite quickly that I do not have 3 FBU modules in my remote controller. The ones that are configured in PS4000 are surplus to requirement. It's saying, would you like me to delete them? I say yes please. You can watch them disappear. And now it says we will now pull in the project file. So all of the inputs and outputs, all of the labeling, all of the strategy will now be pulled into the PS4000 project. Okay, now we can take a look at it. You'll see that it's got plants, it's all the groups, and I can open up the software and take a look. Okay, now the modules that reside in the controller currently don't have any locations on the strategy pages, so we could spend the time and move all the modules to view all of their positions and links and work out the strategy. There's a much faster way. If you go back to this view of the system, if you right click on all of the plant levels, and you can select arrange shapes. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than you stretching all the objects about yourself. So you just complete that process on each of the pages that you want to have rearranged. You can then open them up and they are sort of spread about in a logical position. What can happen now is you can actually create a whole PS4000 backup file. Click on exchange, backup, select yes, and then you have a complete project file backup. You can click on save, and we have something we can now export and generate documentation from. Okay, that's the end of the video. Any questions, please post online or send me an email and I'll help as I can. Thank you very much.